Alright, good morning. This is a bit weird. Good morning, good afternoon. I don't know where you are when you're watching it. Who knows? I've never done a video recording or audio track on a video recording I've made before. So it's going to be like a weird commentary for unknown reasons, because who gives a fuck, right? This is sort of the first time I've ever actually held to a camera whilst running around on my EUC, and I'm currently in the Innes National Park, going out of the Pondalawi campsite. You notice the frame around the edges, just if you see if it's distracting or what, let me know. But I didn't have a gimbal, so I had to both de-shake and manually track most of this footage, which is a massive pain in the ass. So you can see the beautiful, beautiful day that I'm riding on. It's so much fun to ride in Innes National Park. Just here, you'll see there is a emu which had to go. It went and had to go, tried to chase me, but it has its like little babies with it, so it didn't want to chase very far. I think the only reason it was chasing me was because it had its babies there. I was hanging around in some of the other campsites, and there was emus everywhere, and they were just deathly afraid of you. They would run away immediately as soon as they saw you. So I think it's only because of the babies that this one wanted to have a go at me. I was travelling most of the time at about 45 k's an hour. If there's any beeping in the audio track, you'll notice that. Because my EUC, which is the Kingsong 16X, I've set the speed limit to 45 k's an hour, so I've got a 5k buffer before I reach the actual limit. And then, because I've fallen over previously as I was accelerating into it. Look at these glorious beaches. I can't believe how beautiful this place is. I spent the weekend there. I was playing support vehicle for my family while they did a walk the York, as it's called, and I spent my days rolling around the on the EUC, checking different things out, and then setting up and packing up campsites. It was a very, very good weekend. The few things I learnt about running around with a GoPro is the wide-angle shots. I mean, it does get sort of thing, but you want to really keep your horizon in the center of the frame. Otherwise, you get really obvious warping. And all of this is manually tracked and manually rotated and zoomed after the fact. It's like a 20-minute video, so like that's a really painful job. I even give up halfway. There's water, there's places to sit, and there's toilets everywhere throughout this national park. It's absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend just going and camping there or checking it out. Everyone knows York's in Adelaide. We had the first public holiday after the COVID where we were all allowed to go out. The roads outside of Port Wakefield were completely backed up with traffic, like for hours and hours and hours. It was ridiculous. You'd think that they would have some sort of alternate plan to somehow make that easier, but they don't. At least not yet. I'm sure somebody's working on it. So there's like a lake in the middle, and I tasted the water in the lake. It is very salty, and I think it's got it was like for mining of a particular type of rock. I didn't really pay much attention. I went into the village, to check it out. I didn't really pay much attention to the historical stuff, like it's not my cup of tea. I'd much rather go through nature and see the hills than I would see a 100,000 or 100-year-old building. Like a couple of 100-year-old building. What are we? Only 200 and something. What, 1985 was the 200-year anniversary, or the 200-year thingo? So we're not that old as a nation. This was Ethel Wreck. I don't know if you'll be able to see the wreck from the footage that I'm taking, and you can see like the camera's all over the frickin' joint. I tried to keep the horizon level most of the time after the fact, but just the sheer volume of keyframing to make this shitty footage kind of more I don't know, more stable for you, was too much. I definitely need to purchase a gimbal, and I'm probably going to say that over and over throughout this whole video. But I mean, look at that ocean, so blue, so lovely. I mean, we spend a lot of time in the 80s educating people about picking up trash and making sure that we can keep our nation clean, and nobody in Australia really accepts people throwing trash away. I mean, it happens still, because you know you've always got children and teenagers who are still learning why things happen, and obviously rebels of any sort. I'd just fallen over when I switched to this piece of footage. I was only travelling very slowly, and I wasn't wearing any of my gear, so I just sort of like toppled because I hit a ridge in the rock. So I decided to chuck on all my gear and get recording again. This is like a fire track down past after I visited the village, the historic Inniston township, and it was covered in lots and lots of sticks and roots travelling across the path, intermixed with rocky ridges and stuff, because the whole place is very rocky. So I had to really keep my eye on the ball and pay attention. There are other sections where I had to really pay attention as well, where I'm rolling through other places. I think this is now day 2 of the roll. So I was there for 4 days, starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and the majority of the hiking was done on Saturday and Sunday, and I was basically free for the rest of the time to just check things out and see what's around. No, this is still day 1. This is just like actually, I remember now, it's a couple of weeks since I did this, so I decided that I wanted to check out just further up the road from the Pondalewi campsite. I'm rolling through the Pondalewi campsite right now again, and we're going up to check out the fishing village. And what's that place called? There's another thing. This isn't the beach break at Pondalewi, which I hear is good. I was by myself, so I'm a little bit squeamish or scared of surfing alone, just in case of some injury, or not really too worried about sharks, honestly. Like that's like being worried about getting hit by a car. You know, like the chances are more likely to be hit by a car. So, but I experimented here with the camera being down low, so I've got the pole on the top side rather, and I had to flip this footage upside down, and I just think it's fantastic. It's a huge potholes that I was dodging around here, like not that, there's a couple coming up. Oh, where are these potholes? They're huge. Yeah, there we go. I knew there was some stuff around. I really enjoy riding on dirt roads, hey, and I need to keep my knees out. If I touch the EUC with my legs, then it completely messes up the dynamics. Even a very light touch on the EUC with my legs makes it wobble. So you'll see it wobble, and I have to like open my legs out to get my legs away from it. So I guess I'm bow-legged when I ride. I don't know. I mean, look at this gorgeous weather we had over the weekend. Beginning of September 2020, right in the thick of all like the world is pretty crazy, but we can still go out and enjoy this beautiful world that we live in. I wouldn't imagine what it's like being stuck in a city, like not being able to get out. There's a few fishermen over there. This is a very popular peninsula in South Australia. Lots of holiday homes and lots of people coming to visit, but our population is so low that even being so popular, there's plenty of room. We've got nice clean oceans, and because we're facing towards the Antarctic. One of the days we spent just wandering across the rocks of the beach, Checking out all the granite and photographing crabs in their little nooks and crannies, which was beautiful. There's some really good photos of some crabs. I don't think I have any in this video. So mostly with this video, I'm experimenting with different camera angles because this is the first time I've done any recording. So I kind of like this top-down view. I might want to purchase myself a 360 camera as well, because they can be really interesting footage-wise. And definitely a gimbal, so that I don't have this rotation of the frame to keep things level. Because with a gimbal, that should take care of that. So just across the car park, and I'm going to check out another beach break. Sand is particularly hard to ride across. I find that my wheel digs in quite dramatically, and instead of rolling straight, will try to go out from underneath me very, very quickly. So if I'm going faster, it works better. Otherwise, I have to just get off and walk it. It's such a gorgeous environment that we live in. Right, so that's those two places. I think I'm heading back now. So that was the car park at the end of the Pondalawi campsite road. Now I'm heading into the fishing village, which I was surprised that there appears... I'm not sure if you hire out these shacks, or whether it kind of looks like people actually live there, or it's part of the park ranger stuff. I'm not sure, but it certainly seems more permanent accommodation. It's kind of weird to have a national park and there's just what appears to be a random little outpost of humans. People having a bit of a swim, checking out the world. This whole place is just filled with beautiful beaches. Big expanse. That's the Pondalawi beach. Over the other side is where the beach break is. I'll be visiting that in a minute. But yeah, just large open expanses. There's just nobody around in winter time. I mean, it was fairly warm these few days, but not actually warm enough to go swimming. Like, at least not for a South Australian. I mean, the temperature I like to go swimming is more in the high 30s Celsius. Or if I'm going surfing, then I guess it doesn't really matter, but I don't really like the cold. My circulation's not that great. Let's cruise out of this village and go back to camp. And that was Saturday. I just love the light through the trees. And I have given up on rotating the footage. So from here on out, it's just going to be all over the shop, like angular. because it's an absolute crazy ton of effort to constantly rotate the video. I mean, other than maybe one kangaroo and a bunch of emus, I didn't really see any. I didn't really see any interesting wildlife this trip. This is the entryway. When I was leaving, I went back to record what it's like to come into Innes National Park, which is sort of like a money shot type thing, except that I'm right in the middle of the frame and I still don't know how to sort of get myself out of it. The vans back there, one of them was a surfer who I was talking to later at Chinaman's Beach Break. He was really interested to see what the EUC was and how it worked. Yeah, I mean, how annoying is that? Right in the middle of the frame, you jerk. You know, live and learn. I get some good footage later of things. But when you're driving, coming in on this road and looking at this expansive, beautiful environment is just, it's just like, yes, you know you're in the right place. Better off to the side. So that little rocky outcrop on the side is called Chinaman's Hat. And then there's a beach break just on the other side of the rocks, just over there. Now you can't really go traipsing through any of this stuff. There are sort of designated walking tracks, because you don't want to damage the ecosystem. Sort of keep to the existing trails. And in my case with the EUC, it's really, really quiet, as quiet as bike riding, so I don't really have any qualms about riding around. And all the speed limits in the park are a mixture of between 40 and 60 k's an hour, but a lot of it is 40 k's an hour. And since my maximum speed is only 50, I'm not too fussed about that either. I never had any cars come up behind me because I was simply moving fast enough that it didn't matter. Look at this gorgeous world. I don't know if you can see on the EUC, there's like a couple of little grey pads, maybe next time. Oh, looking at the emus. There's a couple of little grey pads on the front. They're like, I made them out myself, just some temporary things to sort of feel what it's like to have some pressure underneath the feet. Especially when you're going over bumpy terrain, I tend to, because I'm going quite fast over bumpy terrain, my feet tend to slide forwards, so I was having them there, and also going over curbs and trying to go up curbs, you need to be able to grip when you're lifting up so that you don't come off too much. So they're just some little things. That van that just went past, everyone waves hello and is excited to see you. Earlier there was a couple of little kids who like waved hello and said hello and stuff, so it's like nobody's concerned, they're all curious about the EUC, which I find is really encouraging. Everyone likes them, they think they're cool. I just wish they were more common or more able to be ridden. This particular road is extremely rough, and there are sections in it that I was very afraid of coming off. I am travelling at about 45 k's an hour, between 40 and 45, and you can see I'm going over quite some bumpy spots. There were not too many corrugations in these dirt roads. Normally that's done on purpose. These roads had sort of sectional areas of corrugation that seemed rather large, like not that they were done on purpose. and I was slowly, my feet were slowly shifting forward on the pedals, little bit by little bit. And eventually I had to stop and reseat myself. Also, because I've been riding quite some time at this point, the pole was weighing down, so I'm holding it with both hands. You see there, going over those bumps, it's just crazy.
Wow, my feet got really far forward.
This is quite a significant hill as well. It's not, I don't know if you can tell by the angle of the EUC there, that it's not a flat terrain. It's, yeah, it's quite a hill. So getting started on a hill is not an easy prospect. So this is heading out towards one of the lighthouses. But there are big tracts of sandy sections and lots of cliff type edges, and honestly I got a little worried for dropping it. Worried enough that I decided to stop and then instead take advantage of the view for a few minutes. Alright, headed back. I think we're going to Chinaman's Beach now. Can't really describe the feeling of riding an EUC in a beautiful national park. I think it needs cruise control. I don't know how it would maintain a speed, but yeah, I feel like because I'm constantly managing my speed, because I either go over the speed limit or I'm just cruising down, or maybe I should just slow down so that I can enjoy the terrain more. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here about what could be done to make the EUC ride more cruisy rather than when you're concentrating, because I was thinking on a bike you can sort of just cruise for a while or pedal just relaxed because you have your physical limits. With the EUC you've got this constant sort of beeping that happens when you reach your thing. So this is the Chinaman's beach break. There's a couple of surfers here checking out that thing. They thought it was cool. And out in the ocean there is maybe 5 or 6 surfers. Honestly, I had such a good time rolling between destinations during the day, setting up camp and relaxing at evening. The only thing that would make it better is if I had friends that wanted to go surfing and stuff with me, so that we could try out some stuff. But I wasn't really there for me. I was there. There was a couple of old mate surfers who wanted to check out the EUC. I was adjusting my feet pretty much constantly though, and so I wasn't really sort of taking off and fairly wobbly. Whenever I stand on the EUC, I need to adjust my feet first, so I'm constantly like wobbling as I start off. But once you sort of get your feet far enough away from the inside of the pedals and in the right position, then it smooths out and you just cruise. And I had forgotten to put my gloves on because I left in a rush, so obviously safety first. In this case I accidentally had safety second, which, whoops, oh well. Why I left this footage in? Well, because I got lazy. Honestly, like, I had hours and hours of footage, and I managed to sort of chop it down into just little chunks. And then halfway through making the video, I kind of got tired of editing it, especially doing the manual gimbal after the fact. That's just insane. I think I probably would have gotten greater footage just using my phone, because I use a lot of different techniques. But the GoPro has a really nice wide-angle lens. Actually, I got a new Oppo A91, so that has a wide-angle feature. I need to get myself a selfie pole for it, or just a pole for it. But I already smashed one phone. I had a Galaxy Note 8, and I was riding around looking at the screen and then tripped. And instead of throwing the phone out of my hand to sort of save it, I ended up landing right on the phone and smashing the screen. It was almost unusable. I had it usable just enough that I could pull my apps and data off it, which is lucky, and then I had to buy a new phone, which is disappointing. So yeah, don't ride around with your phone in your hands. It's not a good idea. I need to get myself like a wrist mount, I reckon, something so that I can look at my phone, but it's unlikely going to be smashed if I fall over. So that would be cool. Even better would be like a heads-up display inside a pair of glasses. That would be even sweeter. You know, like augmented reality style. So I can see my speed and my voltage ratings and basically monitor it. And that would give me something that I could then manage my speed a lot better too. But maybe something for the future, like a pair of gloves. I got the full motorcycle gear, bought new shoes, knee pads, the jeans, Kevlar, riding jacket, EUC designed gloves with the hard inserts so that if I fall I can land on them and slide, a motocross style helmet, open face, and goggles to keep me safe in case. And this is as you're exiting the park, going out upwards. So that was the end of day 2 before I went to Jim Beach. We went and camped in Jim Beach, and if you ever camp in Jim Beach, book number 5. Spot number 5 is the shit. It is gorgeous, but there are a few ant nests around, so absolutely beautiful campsite.